Hello, I'm Colleen Holder and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at Villa Being. It's perched 180 feet above the sea in the secret mountain estate of Arnos Vale. This secluded getaway allows you to become one with nature and was created by Auliana Poon as an alternative to the common holiday. We'll explore the serenity behind these walls right after we tell you what's happening in our stories this week. Adopting a river, an initiative designed to provide Tobago with clean water. Learning from Canada, a few of our tourism students will be heading there for their final year. And we'll tell you about the residents of a particular community who got help to improve their homes. This is Let's Talk Tobago and we're in Arnos Vale at Villa Being, a place designed by local architect Roger Turton. It was built in 1999 and is a collection of small structures featuring a dozen patios, an open-air shower and numerous large doors and windows which complement the great scenic view. It's evident this is a deliberate attempt to preserve as much of the natural environment as possible, but in other parts of the island this has not happened, well, until now. In Tobago, it's very real. Our actions have had a direct and negative impact on the quality of our drinking water. Water contamination is increasing and it's becoming more expensive to treat with this problem. But there's a move to change this culture and make persons more environmentally conscious. Omadar Mills tells us what's being done.
The Corland watershed is one of 5 watersheds in Tobago supplying water to thousands of homes in the southwestern region of the island. But over the years, WASA has had to do more to keep the watershed clean. Research is showing that the water quality is decreasing, and it's not just at Corland.
I was able to show that in 1999, most of the rivers in Tobago were in pristine condition. And 11 years later, after our regular measurements of the river and water quality, we were able to show at least 3 or 4 watersheds that are in degradation.
But there's a program which WASA is introducing to reduce and in time eliminate the pollution of our waterways. Adopt a River allows individuals, institutions, NGOs and corporate bodies to partner with WASA, create projects and have access to funding to do activities such as cleanups, reforestation exercises, water testing, or carry out educational seminars on water preservation. The senior hydrologist says that involving all persons in positive action to safeguard the quality of our water improves the standard of living for all.
The watersheds become better, the biodiversity at least stops degrading, the incidences of flooding will decrease, the water quality issues will be minimized, and people will become more aware of what is happening in their watersheds and try to do what they have to do to keep it in good order.
The manager of Environment Tobago, Juliana Antoine, says that her organization will be willing to participate in the efforts to improve water quality on the island.
We do a lot of conservation work, we do a lot of environmental education programs in school and also on a community level. So this falls right within our mandate. So we're hoping that, we could get some cleanup campaigns, maybe some conservation work. A few years ago, we actually had a project where we were working with the Water Watch Network to do water testing in different bays around Tobago, and we had the school children involved. So this is something that we would love to reactivate.
The project got started in Trinidad earlier this year. In Tobago, WASA has already engaged the help of the THA and will be leading the way in joining with organizations to better care for rivers in Corland, Richmond and Goldsboro. I'm Omadar Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
If you're traveling east and you're suddenly blinded by extra bright lights, okay, that might be a bit of an exaggeration. But if you do notice a ray of light from an unexpected place, don't be alarmed. That just means that a promise has been kept. Crystal George explains.
The people of Collar Hall came out in their numbers, not only to see the recreational ground being lit, but to witness its renaming and the unveiling of the commemorative stone in honor of Collar Hall's own Eric Hovell.
Chief Secretary and office bearers of the Tobago House of Assembly, I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you as we stand and sit, some of us today, in commemoration of the name change from this facility being the first, and history is created this evening, in Tobago, where the name is officially going to be changed from Calder Hall Recreation Ground to the Eric Hovell Sporting Facility.
Mr. Hovell was a sports administrator and community activist, often credited with turning around Calder Hall's cricket and football teams during the 1970s.
He was a father figure, a boss, and by no means a president, and of course everything that football holds to this community in the name of Eric Hovell.
According to Chief Secretary Orville London, Mr. Hovell was a very focused, passionate individual committed to people and their development. He is remembered as someone who took it upon himself to nurture Tobagonian sporting talent, especially in the area of football.
Eric Hovell used his office as a surveyor to indicate to Tobago and to assist most youngsters in the vicinity of Calder Hall and environs that football can be used, and I like to put it this way, as a vehicle of transformation of all our lives.
Now that the THA has done its part, it's up to the residents to take great care of their facility and continue to harness and hone the skills of this island's athletes. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Building a home is a venture that's challenging and requires a lot of financial and personal sacrifice, but not everyone has the wherewithal to make this happen. Tobagonians, though, don't have to worry. They're getting help through the Home Improvement Grant. Let's hear how some of them plan to use this financial gift.
This is the unfinished home of Canaan resident Rosalind Bainu. She is one of the 6 persons who received funding to assist her in completing her home in the Canaan-Bonaccord electoral district. Another grateful home improvement grant applicant is Norma George Kwashi. She's using the money to add on a bedroom to her home.
Pay back for the galvanized, and then I'll put ceiling, the galvanized and the wood, and then seal the thing and put the windows. I don't have the door ready. And anything remain, I put tiles on the ground sometime.
Hilda Engler is receiving the first set of money from her grant application. She says she's relieved to have some finances to help finish constructing her house.
It was used to assist me in the completion of my home, like boarding around so that the rain wouldn't, because as you can see, I have the tarpaulin and it open on top.
Roland David will be using his grant to put in new windows, while Verlin Gift and Chidima Maynard will be using their money to complete the construction of rooms at their homes.
The effect of the grant is far-reaching because it helps us as departmental settlements to fulfill our mandate in actually helping to improve the existing housing stock of Tobago. So, our real success stories come when, we see these files come in, these applications come in completed, and we are able to realize that, we help somebody put on a bathroom, help them with the leaking roof, So the importance of the grant is far-reaching, and, we endeavor to continue.
This grant initiative started 9 years ago and is one of the programs done by the THA to facilitate the housing solution on the island. The funding is given in 2 tranches totaling $15,000 per applicant. House visits and the check distributions by the Division of Settlements and Labour is an activity which will continue throughout Tobago. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking a break, but still to come, 4 Tobagonian students who are getting international exposure.
CIRT Tobago, ready to provide your community with the highest degree of professional services in emergency response. Contact CIRT Mariah at 660-0065 or CIRT Speyside at 660-6096. CIRT 24-hour services, emergencies, medical or other. CIRT Pro, the new face of emergency management.
You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago. Thanks for staying with us at the captivating Villa Being. This infinity pool, which overlooks the Caribbean Sea, is just one of the many things here designed to make you relax and forget about the bustling world around you. There's also personal chef and masseur available at the request of guests. Now, these are all great things we've learned and embraced from Europe and North America. So you must admit, it's refreshing when local groups take our culture overseas. Here's the story of a Tobago-bred club that represented this island on the international stage.
Whether it's a spiritual dance, the fisher folk dance, or Congo ballet, the performers of the Roxborough Police Youth Club wowed crowds at the West Indian Day celebrations, a Youth Fest concert, and the Trinidad and Tobago Independence Alliance in New York. Dance instructor Sylvette Gregg says that he is proud the group is able to give excellent performances even in the small space of a church.
They shocked me, actually. Because even in the church, we didn't know that we was going to perform in a church. And the way in which they adapted to the church, it was shocking to me because I did not even see the church. They actually controlled the spaces. They knew exactly how far to go, how much to do. And
the group has been going to New York through the invitation of the O'Malley Dance Theatre since 2004. The 43-member contingent also benefited from dance workshops facilitated by several New York-based dance instructors.
One of the groups that we interacted with was a Cuban group this year. The last time we were there, we interacted with a group from Guyana. And it is always a learning experience. You learn new style, new techniques, and that kind of stuff. And the group has grasped, they have never turned their back on the opportunity to learn anything new.
But the club did not only promote Tobago with their performances. Mindful of the importance of the tourism sector to the island, the leader of the Roxborough Police Youth Club, Colleen Holder, says they advertised Tobago in another unique way.
We have been advertising Tobago on our visit. We carry on our slogans on our back stating, "Visit Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene." And so we have been preaching the message all the time when people see us in terms of our uniformity.
Funding was a collaborative effort among the THA, private partners and the Police Youth Club, and discussions are in place to have members of the O'Malley Dance Theatre visit the island for the 2014 Tobago Heritage Festival. Over the years, the Roxborough Police Youth Club has been recognized for its excellent work in allowing young persons to develop in all areas of their lives. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
From the Arab Spring to the ongoing crisis in Syria, the importance of democracy and democratic institutions has never been more self-evident. But the big question is, how do we maintain and strengthen this? Well, in the Commonwealth, there's an organization set up to do just that, and the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament holds membership there. This has allowed members of the Tobago House of Assembly to represent this island at the association's 2013 annual conference in South Africa. Let's share the experience of one of the participants and what it's inspired him to do for the people of Tobago.
It was a learning and empowering experience for the presiding officer of the Assembly Legislature, Kelvin Charles, who was one of thousands of democratic government representatives present at the 59th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in South Africa. Mr. Charles says that one of the best practices which he took away from the conference relates to that of greater youth involvement in Tobago's governance.
We will also be creating, as it were, a youth assembly, where the intention is that at least probably twice a year, we can have young persons debating issues pertinent to their development as well as the development of Tobago.
Before this happens, youth from various secondary schools will be invited to sit in on plenary sessions so that they can get a sound understanding of the roles and functions of the legislative process as it relates to the country's democracy.
We have to prepare them, provide them with opportunities. So when they come in with an understanding of the role of chief whips, for example, the role of the leader of assembly business, the whole question of the election of leaders in the House and leaders of parties.
And with its history of freedom fighting, Mr. Charles says a tour to the Nelson Mandela and Apartheid Museum also stands out for him.
And one recognized the role that Mandela played. One got a sense of the history. One got a sense of some of his speeches. In fact, there were videos about some of his speeches and his encounters. And one had to be moved. It was a really emotional experience.
The leader of Assembly's business, who's also the Secretary for Health and Social Services, Claudia Groom-Duke, also represented the THA at the conference. Both Mr. Charles and Mrs. Groom-Duke attended as observers and not delegates because Tobago does not make its own laws and have them assented to without the permission of the Cabinet and then the Parliament. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
This island markets itself as the capital of paradise. Each year, thousands book flights to come and enjoy Tobago's beaches, cuisine and culture. It's a trend that firmly establishes tourism as the backbone of this economy. But everyone knows the product is only half the work. This is why some of our local students are getting international experience. They'll be exposed to the best practices of another country as they pursue tertiary level tourism and hospitality studies.
These are the 4 students who, through their hard work, are getting the opportunity to participate in the Student Exchange Agreement signed in 2005 between the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute and the Canada College in Canada. One of them, Lorene Dillon, says that it was her goal to be part of the exchange program from the moment she applied to the institute.
Really wanted to experience studying abroad and the culture, a different culture, especially in the culinary field. I wanted to see how I could bring that back and adapt what we have to make it profitable and effective.
Students have to maintain a grade point average of 3.0 and above in order to qualify for the exchange program. Doris Cornwall Duke did just that. She hopes to go into nutrition studies and someday open her own bakery. She already knows the key elements for a successful semester at the foreign college.
I expect that I will have to fit in, first of all. I will have to work hard to maintain my grades, and I will have to get accustomed to a different culture, a different way of life.
The Acting Chief Executive Officer, Lyra Smith, encourages the students to stay focused on what they are going to do, but balance that with having fun and creating friendship links. She also says that the international experience has several benefits.
It allows each of you the opportunity to increase your understanding of not just your culture, but also to tolerate it. Improve on your communication skills and also give you an opportunity to broaden your social horizons.
Upon their 3-month return later this year, the students would have completed the requirements for getting their associate degree certificates. The THTI not only facilitates exchange students from Canada, Nigerian students are also able to come and experience Tobago's culinary programs available at the Institute. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take another break, but stay with us for details about a magazine that will keep you in the know. Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago and to Villa Being in Arnos Vale. Many of the trees here, including the 2 Belizean immortelles in the valley, were planted by the father of the villa's owner. From the furniture to the artwork, everything was carefully selected to create a meditative atmosphere on this 6-acre organic farmland. And here's something to think about. Former U.S. President John F. Kennedy once said that a nation that's afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood of ideas in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. It's perhaps this very premise that's inspired a new publication called Update. It's a magazine designed to keep Tobagonians aware and informed of events happening on the island. The publisher says it'll be relevant for the wide range of topics covered. Omadara Mills tells us where we can pick up a copy.
Glossy pages with colorful pictures. Update magazine. As the name implies, it is the THA's newest way of keeping the public in the know about its programs and activities.
This magazine will serve to highlight all the very significant events in the Tobago House of Assembly and in particular the Office of the Chief Secretary. It will give information to the public and also officers within the Tobago House of Assembly knowledge that will be relevant for widespread information.
The content of the magazine includes profiles of THA's employees, interesting facts about the different communities, Tobagonians who have contributed to the development of the island in various areas, and highlights issues relating to the THA's work on the environment, health, sport, education, and culture, which will be beneficial to Tobagonians as they move forward in their development.
An informed society will make informed decisions or have informed discussions. And I see the magazine informing a wider population of Tobago and even by extension Trinidad and Tobago about what is happening in the Tobago House of Assembly.
The publication will not only have matters of importance. On a lighter note, it will contain several brain teasers and giveaways such as digital cameras and other electronics. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Born in the quiet village of Pembroke, he never thought he could become a priest or even a bishop, but over the years that changed. Today, his dedication to people and to looking out for the spiritual and academic needs of those in communities in both Tobago and Trinidad has earned him national recognition. Who are we talking about? A Tobagonian who received the 2013 Shakonia Medal Gold.
So may we and all your people become channels of your love through the same Christ our Lord. Amen.
The Bishop of the Trinidad and Tobago Anglican Diocese, the Right Reverend Claude Berkeley, has been involved in church and community activities since he was a boy. During his career, he was able to balance teaching at several Anglican primary and secondary schools in the country, becoming certified in theology studies, and raising a family, all while carrying out his pastoral duties at various churches across the country. For his devotion to country in the areas of religion and education, Bishop Berkeley received the Shakonia Gold Medal earlier this year.
It was a big moment. I claimed the national award in the name of the church, the Anglican Church, and not just the church, but the communities in which I have worked and served, because those communities helped to shape me in one way or other.
But despite his national recognition for his contributions to the country, the bishop says his ordination to the Anglicans' highest office in the Trinidad and Tobago Diocese on March 17, 2011 is an unforgettable moment in his life.
I thought myself that the service was magical. It was in a very high place. There was a very spiritual kind of vibration.
His devotion to nurturing persons in the communities through the church and education over the years is founded on a key principle.
I was taught to respond to the church, respond to what God was asking you to do. So you should be always available to help, to contribute, and so forth.
The bishop continues to serve, providing communities with spiritual direction, with a particular focus on engaging youths in changing their lives with the use of new tools and the technologies. I am Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
And let's introduce you to another remarkable man. In the days when Charlottesville and Palatuve didn't have paved roads or streetlights, many took 2 days to travel between the villages, but not him. If you're wondering during which period Tobago looked like that, here's a small cue. On Thursday, September 12th, he celebrated his 101st birthday. Yes, you heard me right, and you're about to meet him.
Charlottesville resident Harvey Moore was born on September 12, 1912. He recalls the days when this seaside community was an estate. Cocoa picking was just one of the activities which Mr. Moore participated in. Another which gained him admirable notice was delivering a message from Charlottesville to Palatuve.
came back to Charlotte from Bradford 1 day. And he gave me 2 days for myself. They was here, Charlotte will give me 2 days, and nobody never do that. He asked me for run, I said no, solid walk, and bare feet, you know.
Among his jobs was that of the Supervisor of Public Health for the Roxborough to Charlottesville Windwater District. But this is not all. He was able to maintain a large garden, planting crops such as yam, plantain, banana, and cassava while rearing cattle. Mr. Moore also got into the fishing industry, where he not only caught and sold fish but produced shark oil, an activity which earned him the name the Shark Oil Man. With his many occupations, this 101-year-old man believes in sharing whatever he has with those around him. During Hurricane Flora in 1963, his home was one of the few roofs that remained intact, turning it into a shelter for neighbors. Esther Moore Yates is the last of 6 of Mr. Moore's children. She says that she appreciates his words of advice over the years.
He was a very good father to me, very kind, very loving, very peaceful. And he all times give me good words of consolation. He all times tell me to do good, and good will follow you, and do good to your parents, and you will live as long as the Bible says.
He loved dancing in his day and now enjoys going to church and watching fireworks at Independence. When asked what allows him to live this long, Mr. Moore does not have one point of advice. But from his story, we can all learn a few lessons on living long, healthy lives. I'm Umidara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's time to have Your Say, the segment of our program where we hear from you, our viewers. As you're aware, the Tobago House of Assembly wanted just under $5 billion from the central government to deal with its recurrent expenditure and its development needs. That didn't happen. Instead, the finance minister allocated just about half that amount and has so far remained silent on an issue the chief secretary says is key to ensuring Tobago's economy grows. As the THA sees it, having access to loans will allow the Assembly to move forward with its fiscal plans. So we're asking, should the Assembly be given legal authority by the central government to source funding for Tobago's development needs? This is what you said.
I could be wrong, but I think Tobago could handle that. Give me my money. We're supposed to give Tobago what on the budget, whatever, and Tobago could run the show.
In Tobago, we getting problem from Trinidad to get finance to carry out the projects and different things here. So if we could get authority from Trinidad, to get we own or to borrow we own finance, that will be all right for us.
The only circumstances under which that power should be given is when you have a Tobago House of Assembly that has competent people to spend the people's money.
Yes, it should, because Trinidad and Tobago, so we always won, so therefore Tobago have a big part to play too as well, like Trinidad.
Yes, since the central government have the authority to do so, we should, because two of us, we are all one country, so we should be able to borrow money from outside as well.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. Do remember you can send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and add us to your YouTube playlist. I'm Colleen Holder, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, happy Republic Day and have a safe and enjoyable week. And as we go, we leave you now with some final scenes from the enchanting Villa Being.